Hey, Margaret.
Yeah, Anton?
You know what people don't talk about enough?
What?
August is not as charming to Mullen as he thinks he is. Welcome to People Don't Talk About, Young Royals. I'm Anton, my pronouns are he, they.
And I'm Margaret, my pronouns are they, them.
And we're people, and we're here to discuss the show our friends are sick of hearing us talk about.
Anton, what are we talking about today?
Today we'll be continuing and hopefully finishing our discussion of the acting in Season 1, Episode 4.
Woohoo! Okay, if you need or want a refresher, go back to this week in Hilarska because we're not doing it here. We're really speed running this because Margaret has to leave for work in 30 minutes.
Exactly. So we're just going to do this. Hey guys. So where we leave off?
The jacket, it wasn't romantic.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't romantic. And then we got one thing I literally forgot last time is because I just wanted to outro us so fast is that we literally see Felice put charcoal on Wilhelm's forehead from a distance, but it's like super faint when we're close up again. So it's either like a small continuity issue or just like we can't see it. So we kept being like, if that happened, it definitely happened. Anyways,
yeah. Simon
finding Micah drunk and passed out. The act of just staring stock still while we can't see your face, like superb acting from Omar, because it's like you just know it's like,
oh yeah,
I know what's happened. Like I know what is happening right now, but I'm just like too angry to be.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not surprised, just pissed.
Yeah. And like leaving the almost empty bottle of pills as like the tiniest mercy. That like moment of like, there's like 2 or 3 in here. I'll leave him those, and then leaving.
Yeah. I wonder if that was like, I'll leave him those, or if it was like it's not worth it. Or if they were a different kind.
Right, who even knows? Honestly, like it's hard to tell.
Yeah, because we don't see the... Yeah.
But, okay, I'm going to try to speed this especially fast. The Felice and August sex scene.
Oh,
sorry.
God.
The insecurity on display is just actually a little astounding. Like... Also, the gaslighting of trying to minimize accusing Felice of thinking of another guy while they're having sex. Like, few August scenes infuriate me more than this one.
That's fair.
And, like, I think Felice does nothing wrong in this episode.
Yeah, because what was she doing that led him to that conclusion?
Closing her eyes while pleasuring herself.
Okay. Dude, she was just trying to at least have some return on this activity.
Exactly. And I will say, just kind of spoilers ahead for, I think, not for the show, but like for the podcast, I still think Felice is still complicated, kind of because, I hate saying this, but I feel like August has compromised her. Like, as long as she feels she has to put up with his bullshit, I can't stand her completely.
That's valid, and I think I agree.
Yeah. Like, I'm not holding it against her. I get it. But I can't fully stand you if you're with August. Like, that's just not how it's going to go.
I agree.
And then they go public. Felice and August go public. Annette to August being like, I haven't seen you smile in a long time. Like,
Yeah.
Felice's friends' confusion is so fucking valid.
They're like, this guy that you've been turning down repeatedly for the last however long they've been in school.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Also, Maddie, was it royal? An iconic line.
So funny.
Especially as the button.
Fucking funny.
Especially as the button on Maddie looking thoroughly exhausted by the idea of her roommate dating August. Like, already. Upon finding out about it, she's already done.
Yeah, she's like,
And she's not even hiding it on her face. But I feel like Maddie hides very few things on her face.
No, and we love her for it.
And then the way I describe this next scene is Simon turning August into a dealer.
No, honestly.
It's a battle between 2 stubborn people, and a battle Simon actually wins for the first time in the series.
Yeah, he does. And it's... I do wonder whether August is like... Because he does say, like, no, I'm not doing that. Do you think he says it because Simon says you have to do this, or do you think he says this because he's like, morally I'm above dealing drugs?
I think he sees that as a lower class endeavor.
I think you're right.
And I think he still doesn't realize that being broke means you're low class.
Yeah, he's still
because it's like, for him,
like,
being high class is an identity and a birthright, and something that he doesn't think that can actually get taken away from you sweetheart, you're living under capitalism. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, bestie. Bestie condescending, because I will never affectionately call him bestie.
Simon commits the most awkward blackmail in history.
Yeah, he really does.
I love how just uncomfortable he is, because it very close. It shows you how out of his element he is. Like, he's not this person, but he's been forced. He feels forced to be that, but to do this. And then that's immediately followed by the best I hate you smile ever from August.
Yeah.
That's an iconic expression.
It really is. He really has perfected it.
Yeah. Felice and Sarah make up at the bus stop. And the thing I wanted to mention beyond the, like, with Out of the Frame, I talked about Felice, like, them closing that space, like, being on opposite side of the bus stop and then coming together. I want to talk about the hug in this episode of, like, Sarah is probably a bit averse to physical touch, at the very least. Like, and that might be an understatement, just based on the people with autism that I've known in my life. Like, I know it's a common, like, thing for them to not really like being touched. But, and, like, so she, like, I think she's, like, confused by the hug more than anything, but, like, is seemingly able to, like, appreciate the intended significance of it. Like, she gets what Felice means by it, even if she can't really enjoy it in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree, because it's quite awkward.
But it's like she appreciates
but
the
it's
gesture.
Like also cute.
But it's like,
yeah.
But it's like she doesn't get anything out of it, really.
Right.
August in Felice's room. What is there to say that Maddie doesn't sum up for Felice and for us in 2 words? Dump him.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
The insecurity, the possessiveness, the batshit justification for why Felice shouldn't comfort her grieving friend. Like, I mean, stellar performances from both of them, but I could never.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
never. Actually, I say that. It might just because it kind of hits close to home in my first relationship. Not to slander this if you ever actually
hey,
listen
fuck
to this,
that guy.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't think he will.
Fair enough.
I feel pretty confident with that take.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first person who ever told me that I would have a good podcast voice. So, but I was already planning on making a podcast.
A year later.
Yeah, fair enough. Almost 2 years actually, coming up in July.
2 years later.
Yeah. Okay, August giving the jacket back. This is where my cold open comes in. He's a lot less charming to Malin than I remembered, and the way that I think I kind of almost like expressed him to be, or whoever wants to express him to be. I can't remember who had the scene in Speak to Leshka, but like he's still.
I think it was me.
He's still like rude to her right off the bat.
Oh, for sure.
And then thinks a smile will fix it.
Yeah, he's like, what about my pearly whites? Does that help?
But like, he's clearly still mad at Felice throughout this entire interaction and is taking it out on Malin. Like, he's trying not to,
which
a
is
little
just
bit,
rude.
but like it's rude. It's straight up just like by definition rude. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers.
And then the Simon and August overhearing Felice and Villa scene. I'm realizing now Simon is closer to them than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's like literally right in front of them.
And it's it's unclear like how far away he is exactly. Villa does definitely walk right past him without. I was like, this is a stream of consciousness as I'm watching. So I'm like, he definitely does walk back him without seeming to realize that he's there. Like, do you really think he didn't see him? And I'm like, on the one hand, from personal experience, it's pretty easy to escape notice when you want to, but also they're fucking Willman, so I don't know. But also I keep questioning whether, like, I want you to delete all of our texts was a breakup, so I guess I buy that Villa just didn't notice Simon sitting right there. And then I watched it again. I backtracked. I'm like, he gives Simon a single fucking glance before looking away. That fucking hurt to witness.
Yeah. That's the thing, is he notices he's there. I just don't think he cares.
It still doesn't mean anything by it with Felice, but it's like, he can't, again, it's the emotional bandwidth thing. He cannot deal. Mm-hmm. He sees and just pretends it didn't register because he just has to just divert all thoughts away from it.
I would almost argue that it doesn't register.
Like, he unconsciously looked away?
I mean, maybe he just wasn't even, like, looking at Simon, maybe he was just sort of, like...
It's a pretty decisive, like, look in Simon's direction, and then a quick look away.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll buy that. I'd have to look it up, look at it again,
definitely.
But we don't have time for that.
Definitely. Okay, so August kissing Sarah.
Ugh.
Based on wardrobe, this happens the same day as the previous scene, which I never realized.
Yeah, which, honestly, that puts a lot of context into it.
It does. It makes it make more sense, but it doesn't make it any better. Like,
No. I never said it made it better.
No. But I'm like, this jealousy has gotten so bad so quickly. Like...
Oh, it's...
August
out of this world.
Had to have known somehow that Felice liked Villa, because this has become a full-on complex, and they've just been dating for maybe 2 weeks, and that's being generous of me. Like...
Yeah.
But also, he could have possibly just latched onto the person he feels most inferior to. Like the person who has the one thing he can never strive to achieve. Like a true role in the royal family.
Yeah.
Like Villa is now the crown prince. And so all of the insecurities August probably had around Eric that just never really popped up because he and Eric were friends is now popped up with a person who like he thinks are friends. But like how often do they actually interact with each other in like a friendly manner?
I doubt often.
Exactly. And it's like, because like Villa really can't stand August in a lot of ways.
In just about every way, I would say.
Yeah. And it's like, this episode especially, like, I think he has a little bit more grace with August because he knows that August is grieving Eric too.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really okay, going back to August and Sarah, I've never really focalized August in this scene because I've always been like with Sarah of like what is happening.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing to do that. I don't recommend it really, unless you're doing a podcast about it. He's so fucking volatile. His actions defy all logic. And, like, he asks Sarah if Felice talks about Villa. She's understandably confused. And then Sarah asks him, what do you really want? Because she's like, this can't be what you came here for. Like, this makes no sense.
Right.
Why would I know? Like, I'm friends with Felice, but I'm not that close with Felice. And then...
I don't have a tracker in her.
And then, exactly. And then August's decision to cheat is so immediate, it gives you whiplash.
It's crazy.
Like, Sarah looks terrified at being told she is pretty, and then also shocked but that also makes total sense in this scenario. And then Sarah laughing through her discomfort, relatable. And like,
I mean, yeah, we do it every week on this podcast.
I can never know what is going through Sarah's mind by the end of those like 3 kisses. Do you have any insights?
I would argue nothing.
Yeah, it's like kind of no thoughts, head empty is kind of what I keep coming back to.
Yeah, radio silence.
Just static. I think not necessarily radio silence, just static. Like just what is happening, just too confusing for words or even thoughts. Yeah. Like she needs time to process this.
Yeah. Sort of like what just happened?
Yeah, like it probably felt like a daydream or like a dream. Like what the fuck?
A nightmare.
Yeah. Villa is confused by the society's letter. Makes sense. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Micah/Simon confrontation about the drugs. I kind of just started listing emotions.
Yeah.
I was like anger and sadness and regret and anxiety and desperation from Micah and fear and hurt and anger from Simon.
Yeah.
Like I think Micah is feeling a lot more complicated emotions in this moment than Simon because Simon was kind of already done when Micah said that Sarah wasn't ready and still reached out to her anyways. I think Simon is really holding a lot of anger at him for doing that.
I think he's just holding a lot of anger.
Yeah, period. Yeah. Like this is a portrait of a truly broken relationship.
Oh yeah.
And like I feel like Simon is also mad at himself by the end of this scene for ever considering giving Micah a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
The society scene. Villa starts taking the society seriously when he hears he's going to be taking Eric's place, but then he hears their mission statement, preventing the extinction of the group's noble families. I don't even know if he's laughing. He looks amused, like he's just playing along, like it's become a game to him, one where the stakes don't really matter, but he knows they matter to the people playing it.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny to me that they call it, and I don't know how it. Maybe this isn't how it would actually translate, but it's at least how Netflix translates it as the extinction of. Yeah. Like they're their own species.
Yeah.
And the girls with an O who know, I'm in the field of conservation. So it's so fucking funny to me to hear about them like they're a protected species, like a fucking sea turtle.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't a lot of them, but they're also an apex predator, so what the fuck?
Yeah, they're the fucking great whites.
Yeah.
Or what's another apex predator that's endangered?
Yeah.
I can't think of one right now.
Yeah. But
great white sharks.
yeah. Villa eagerly accepts this excuse to get royally fucked up. Pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of looking for any way to escape, so...
Yeah.
Well, it's not a healthy way, it's an effective way.
Definitely. I want to once again flag noble and firstborn male for future discussion. That's probably a privilege to punishment thing.
For sure.
Villa's transition away from being singled out as the crown prince by August is sort of masterful. Like, this is why I'm saying it's become a game for him, and so he kind of has taken anxiety out of the equation here because he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's gotten better at being royal because he's kind of just doesn't have the bandwidth to actually like care about having anxiety. Like, he's just doing whatever he needs to.
Yeah.
And like he has everybody on his side, like, and so making them think that August is being too intense, like, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And then August's anger at everyone laughing off his insistence that the society is loyal to the crown.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what he really thinks of Villa as the crown prince. He's loyal, at least says he is, but does he believe in Villa?
I don't think he does.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the same. Or I don't know if he knows if he does. I think he's at least unsure.
Yeah. I think he believes
in
the
royal family
supporting the crown,
and if the royal family thinks,
but I think for him the crown is the queen.
Yeah, and it's like if the royal
less so Wilhelm.
Exactly, but it's like if this is what the royal family thinks is best, like, I have to be supportive. But it's like,
yeah,
I don't think he has currently made space for his own opinions yet.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Pissing, grieving, and screaming scene. That's what I wrote down. I was getting punchy.
I can confirm that is exactly what
I was getting punchy by the end of this. I have never appreciated how the opening line of this scene is Villa saying, "I'm just gonna fuck everything up."
Mm-hmm.
Like, similar to his mom at the beginning of the episode, he's finally said the thought that's been occupying the forefront of his mind. His inner monologue is finally outer.
Yeah.
And then, want to trade places? Why not? The lack of hesitation is absurd.
Yeah. No, it really is.
And then August, like, half laugh of, like, not being sure if they're joking. But we all know he was serious.
Oh, yeah. Wilhelm is dead serious, and I don't think August knows that.
I think they're both serious, but both of them are playing it off as a joke.
Yeah.
August's attempts to comfort Villa by relating Eric's death to his dad are kind of touching, but they're also pointless because Villa is drowning and August won't be the person who can pull him out.
No. I do think it's really funny, though, because the last thing somebody wants to hear when they're grieving is about somebody else's grief. Yeah. Like, that sounds really self-centered, but it's not, because it's like all you can take on in that moment is your own.
Right. Like, and August is grieving, like, a lot, too. So it's like all I think he can offer him in this moment is a brief release.
Yeah.
And this is a great day to kind of point out that the screaming between August and Wilhelm was improvised, and it was Malta's, actor who plays August's, idea, as learned in Young Royals Forever, the documentary that came out at the end of season 3. I also think it's just the perfect punctuation and transition to the next scene.
It's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that scene ending any other way.
Right. The soccer field.
Oh.
We could probably spend an entire episode on the sequence, but we do not have that much time.
Nope, we've got about 10 minutes.
First things first, fucking round of applause to Edwin for practically everything everyone remembers of Villa in this scene being improvised.
No, honestly.
Also, I wrote in all caps, I just had a thought. You didn't want to talk to me just because everyone knows who I am. You don't get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what the fight at the nightclub was about?
Yeah.
Like, I doubt Villa actually said these things, but he could have been thinking them. Like, if someone was ignoring him because he was the prince, like, he was like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he would have gotten into a fight over. I mean, maybe.
I think he could have just gotten a little pissy, and the other person could have taken it the wrong way.
Okay, I could see that.
I think he could have gotten pissy about them ignoring him, and then someone could have read him as elitist and entitled, and then antagonized him.
I could see that.
Because he can be kind of cold sometimes. So I get that.
Yeah, I could see it.
And it's not the way it's intended, but it's the way it comes across.
Yeah.
Licking the turf off his hand will never not be gross.
Yeah. Did he actually have to lick dirt?
Oh, God. Remembering...
Can somebody... Did he actually eat dirt for that scene? And if he did, how many takes did they do? So how much dirt did he consume?
If I remember right, I think it was like 7 or 9 takes. I can't remember. I could be wrong.
That's a lot of dirt to lick.
Okay, remembering Simon's number.
Yeah, fuck.
But unless in his fucked up state he could find his trash in Google Contacts, I feel like this is also possible. But I would say,
do they have a trash?
They do. I use Google Contacts. I would say remembering Simon's number is more likely as someone whose phone uses Google Contacts. Lol. Like it's kind of hidden, but if you knew where it was and was determined enough to find it, you can easily find it. Like I literally for this episode deleted a contact and then retrieved it out of the trash as a test.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's commitment. What if you hadn't been able to get it back?
It was someone I know I would never talk to. It was like my mentor, like freshman, like for like the honors program, like freshman year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of contacts. I'm probably
whose
never going to
contact
text anymore.
was it? Mine?
No. Okay.
I don't even have your phone number.
None of the people are real. They're just pieces of metal, but I really like you, and that is very real. You don't just say that. No.
That was as close of a love confession as you could get without saying that I love you.
Let's stop and consider what one would do if someone said that over the phone in the middle of the night while you know they are high off their rocker in a soccer field. Like Simon's emotions in this entire sequence are so real. Like Omar plays the trauma of a child of an addict so fucking well.
Yeah, he does.
And then Simon,
it's actually a little heartbreaking.
It's like Simon like letting Villa hug him, and then setting a boundary of like when he couldn't handle it anymore. So slay and also valid.
So slay.
Yeah.
How did they get back to Hilarska? Is what I've always wondered.
I mean, Wilhelm walked there, so they got there eventually.
Yeah, but have you ever been the babysitter for a really, really drunk person?
I can only think
it's a struggle.
I can only think it might have taken a really long time, but I can only think the like by the time they actually got to Hilarska, Wilhelm had just enough wherewithal to like be like, hey, we can open the window and from the outside and then hop in, and then probably passed out.
Like, it's a struggle to herd an incredibly intoxicated person.
Yeah. Okay. The next morning. It took me this rewatch to realize Simon was for sure about to try and quietly escape out Phila's window without waking him up.
Yeah.
Which, imagine that was the way the episode ended.
That'd be so tragic. But maybe not quite as tragic as the way it actually ends.
Right. Also, Villa saying, wait, don't go, sorry about last night, in like rapid succession. It's the way he just immediately apologizes.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he fucked up.
Yeah.
He probably feels it.
Right. And then Simon goes...
because he's probably hungover as fuck.
And then Simon goes, it's okay. And then Villa says, I want you to hold me. Sir? That was quite the escalation.
It was, but like, for Wilhelm, I don't think it is.
Again, also, it's the numb, but with no filter Villa. Like, that's who we're getting this episode.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's also giving... I need to feel something that isn't this raging headache and grief.
Right. And the fact that Simon just goes along with it, goes along with everything Villa asks with no resistance, just shows the audience that he still likes Villa back before he says it to Villa. Like, that tells you before he tells us.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the fact that he came to the soccer field anyways. Like, he's a good person, but it's like...
Yeah.
There are limits.
Yeah. I would come to the soccer field if you were pissed drunk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When they're spooning, they're so aware of what's happening. Villa is freaking out while Simon is deep in thought. And I swear, Simon asked Villa about, like, what he said last night because he needs answers about what the fuck is happening right now. Which, as an audience, as an audience member, same.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Like,
I'd also like answers as to what the fuck is going on right now.
And then I wrote in all caps, this goddamn intimacy scene might be my Roman Empire, which is an outdated meme at this point, but it was true in the moment. It's just so precious and rare to find someone you're this connected to, especially after maybe a month or two at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Now, ending with August. The psychology.
Do we have
the
to?
psychology of recording it. This is an extreme.
Do we have to end with August?
This is an extreme case of a mindset that we've already seen at Hilershka since On the Table.
Yeah. I mean, like, your sexuality is for the entertainment of others at Hilershka.
Yeah, we don't keep secrets here, not from each other. Everything should be out in the
Which
open,
is crazy.
so you can be properly judged.
That's so crazy.
Like, I know that August does not see this as a crime because he is behaving in general accordance with the culture of the school.
Which is incredibly invasive.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say that.
And then we see August go from finding this hilarious to mind-blowing just based on the gender of the person Villa is sleeping with.
Yeah.
And that's on heterosexism.
Yeah, it really is. There's a complete tone change between when he doesn't know who the other person is to when it finally, like, he can see enough of Simon to know who it is.
I do like how your last bullet point is, and everything that Anton says, lol.
Yeah, because you had already written 10 pages.
Love you.
And I was like, I'm not going to rewrite all the shit he already wrote.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
That being said, do you have anything else to add? I reached the end of my notes.
I don't.
Cool. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to keep up to date with when we release new episodes and other pod-related announcements, you can check out our Instagram or our threads at People Don't Talk About. Our next episode will be Love Among Royals for Season 1, Episode 4. So stay tuned. And with that, all that's left to say is, let's start a revolution, baby.